Truth Nation, Juicy Jammers, everybody tapped in. I am joined by the illustrious, all right, Yvette Nicole Brown, all right, actress, writer, producer, and host, and also a self-proclaimed blurred. How you doing, Yvette?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
Amazing.
I love it. I love it.
Perfect. Now, Yvette, I hear you're with the Harris campaign.
I am. I'm one of the surrogates out here talking about this wonderful woman and the great man running with her and trying to get people to show up and vote early if they can in Wisconsin.
Interesting. I think early voting is so important, and I'm glad that we actually have that out here for people to, be able to vote when they can, so it's more convenient for them.
Absolutely.
Seriously,
and you guys have it through Sunday, which is amazing. Like they could literally just put the radio down and go and do it right now.
Very true. Very true. And it's just so crazy because I don't know why. Maybe you know a little bit more than I do, Yvette, but for whatever odd reason, Milwaukee, Wisconsin is the highlight, if I do say so myself, to this whole entire presidential campaign. People are really, banking on the fact that if they don't win Milwaukee, they might not win at all.
It's very true, and that's why it's so important. Look, I'm up early in L.A. calling into the radio station to talk to you because we need the young people in Milwaukee and Wisconsin to show up. Mm-hmm. You guys have to show up. I mean, this is a thing that I always say. I'm an old lady at this point. And when I think about climate change and I think about a woman's right to choose, these are things that will affect the younger population way more than they will me. Mm-hmm. If y'all want to grow up on a planet where you can actually breathe the air and drink the water and not be on fire, you need to go vote for Harris Walls as soon as you can. If you want to be able to control your bodies, young ladies, you need to go vote for Harris Walls as soon as you can. And let me tell you something. Mm-hmm. A woman's right to choose doesn't just affect the woman. Remember, if these babies are born and you're not prepared for them, that affects the men as well. Right. So we need to make sure that everybody gets to decide what's best for their families, and that's why a woman's right to choose is very important.
It's so crazy that you put it that way, Yvette, because you made it sound like Avengers Endgame, all right? It made it sound like it was Avengers Endgame, all right?
I know something about that. I know a little something about that.
Oh, yeah, I'm certain you do. You definitely made an appearance in Avengers Endgame, and if you don't mind me asking, how did that moment in your lifetime feel to be a part of one of the biggest movies of all time?
Listen, I'm a blurred, and now I'm in two of the biggest movies. I'm also a voice in Inside Out 2, which is all about mental health, which is also very important.
What?
Yeah, I voiced Coach Roberts in that. So I've been in $2 billion films.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yes.
No.
And listen, what makes my life possible is living in a democracy.
Right.
So if we don't get Harris and Walls in, the chance for all of us with melanin to do the things we want to do in this world will be over. Because I want to say this about young people, too, as I bring it back to what we need to talk about today. Mm-hmm. Do you know that stop and frisk is one of the things that Donald Trump wants to bring back?
Very
Do you
true.
know that Donald Trump wants to give immunity to police officers? Mm-hmm. Who do you think those two policies in particular are going to affect most? Black people.
Black people.
Young black people. Mm-hmm. Young black people. So that's why it's so important that everybody go to wisdems.org/vote. That's wisdems.org/vote and make sure you vote, young people. And yes, I'm excited to be in those amazing films. I don't want to not give myself the love I deserve, but voting is so important.
No, voting is definitely important. Yvette, it is definitely important. It's something that, you need to look outside of yourself and really analyze your community. You know what I'm talking about,
Absolutely.
Yvette? You really need to have that love and show that you care about your brothers and sisters out there, whether they're black, white, Hispanic, whomever. I think that's what more so the Harris campaign, in my personal opinion. I think that's what she reflects and represents is more the love and compassion that Americans have for one another. Mm-hmm.
We used to care about each other. We used to worry about, we were our brother and sister's keeper. And the idea that we're now living on a planet in a country where we're being told that we're against each other. Mm-hmm. And that's not the case. I think we're closer together and there's more love and hope and joy amongst us than the other side wants to tell us. And the other thing I want the young people to pay attention to, and listen, when I say young people, just know I'm old. I'm not calling y'all children.
You're not old, Yvette. You're not old.
Listen, brother, listen. Listen, tell my neck and my back. Tell these knees. Tell these knees. But the whole point is Project 2025 has a lot of plans that will send us back to the dark ages. And all the things that we fought for in my lifetime are being removed. Mm-hmm. I told this story recently. I was in New York and I saw a jar of, in a thrift store, and there was a jar of buttons, right? And it made me think about the jar of jelly beans and the jar of marbles that people back in the 60s used to have to count in order to be able to vote. And young people may not know that. that. In order to vote back then, black people had to pay a poll tax, so they had to pay a portion of their weekly salary to be able to vote. They had to walk miles to be able to vote. They had to count jelly beans and marbles to be able to vote. We don't have to do that now. So in honor of the people that fought for us to be able to just go to an early voting spot for free and cast a vote, we need to all show up and vote, all of us.
Interesting.
Wherever we live.
And you know, Yvette, it's so crazy for you to actually put it the way that you did, because ultimately this is an act of love. You know, making certain that you do love your community. And one thing that I do know about you, Yvette, all right, is that you are engaged currently.
I am.
And
I am.
You are in the cycle of love for your life right now. Was it the Harris campaign that made you do it?
Let me just bring them two together. I will say this: I am marrying a civically minded man, and we hit the campaign trail together. We both went to Philly recently, and we went to some churches. We went to the Lincoln tailgate, and we went to Cheney University tailgate, and hung out with the people. And I'm an AKA, so we hung out with the AKAs. And my fiance Tony is wonderful, and you know we're fighting the good fight so that those coming up behind us can live the lives that we got to live. So voting is a part of that. Right?
No, you're 100% correct. You're 100% correct. Yvette, because even when I think about like the case of Loving versus Virginia, you know, where a black woman and a white man eventually married, you know, if we side with Donald Trump, that whole thing right there could be, you know, squashed, so to speak, when you are attacking people's ideologies and, again, the people that they decide to love.
Absolutely. He doesn't seem to like anyone that's not him. You know, if you're not white or rich, he doesn't seem to care about you. And what I love about Harris Walls is that they care about everyone. They want all of us to rise, all of us. And that's why we have to show up for them so they can show up for us.
Now, I actually wanted to ask you this question, Yvette, because one thing, again, that I did a little research on you. And you love Star Wars. You're a Star Wars fanatic.
I do.
In this presidential campaign that we're currently in right now, who would you say represents the Jedis and who represents the Sith?
Oh, my God, this is so easy. Of course Harris Walls are the Jedis. Come on. And let me tell you something. If Donald Trump is not a Sith Lord, I don't know what he is. What is he other than that?
Right.
Come on, with all the darkness and all the red, the red lightsabers, and it's all Sith. Disgusting.
That's so crazy.
Use the light, use the force. Come on, use the force, you guys, and go to wisdems.org/vote. Pick up your lightsaber and go vote for Harris Walls. Stop playing around.
I like how I love your creativity. I love your imagination and how you're able to put that all together.
Yes, absolutely. It's right in front of us, though. It's right in front of us if you pay attention. This is the other thing. You guys ever been around someone and when you leave their presence, you try to figure out how you feel. When you leave someone's presence, you either feel good or you feel crappy for the most part. Yeah. And when you watch Kamala Harris on television or speaking, how do you feel? You feel good. You feel that there's some hope. You feel like this thing can turn around. When you listen to Donald Trump or J.D. Vance, all you hear is garbage and everybody's horrible and everybody hates each other and violence and carnage. That is not what America is. And we have a right, if we show up and vote, we have the chance to get America back on track, and we can start talking about joyful and loving things, because that's the truth of who we are, not this dark landscape that Trump Vance paints. What kind of world do you want to live in? What kind of America do you want to live in, where we love each other and help each other, or where we pull each other down? Which one?
Right. It sounds like to me that you're for all your girlfriends, you know?
Absolutely. You have done your research. You've done your research.
Hey, you know, I'm a lover of great art, you know, and I think that's something that you've brought into the game through and through every time you ever hit the screen. And I mean, even in your writing, that you thank you for all the inspiration that you've done for me personally. You know, being on Drake and Josh, like. Yeah, you know how to drop that in there. You know how to drop that in there.
You one of my Drake and Josh kids.
I am.
Let me find out. Let me find out. Jammin juices. That jam. Let's come on. Come on, Jammin. Give it to me.
Because ultimately, you know, I aspire to have a similar path as yours. You know, because ultimately, again,
really?
you know, because ultimately at the end of the day, Yvette, you know, like I said, when we even began this whole interview or whatnot, you know, you, for whatever odd reason, I think you're able to see both sides of the spectrum. And I'm talking about, like, forget the whole black-white idea. I think you speak directly to the human soul, you know, when you actually, when you're doing your craft. So I appreciate everything you've done, because ultimately I think we need to reshape our mind frames to, again, be more loving.
I agree, and I always choose my roles based on can everybody 8 to 80 watch it. And Drake and Josh is one of the first things I did, and I'm so honored that I meet young people. I'm sorry to call you young people, but Jammin, you are young people to me that grew up watching me and see something in me that they want to emulate. I try to be a role model, and that's why getting up early and calling to talk about voting is so important, because I want young people to realize that your vote is your voice, and your voice is your power. And I want us to show up in excellence and in power, and we do that by showing up to vote. And not just for president. You got to show up every time they open the polls, and you got to vote blue, I believe, Democrat up and down the ballot, because we're always on the chopping block. We always are. Right. And if you don't like who's running, run yourself. We've seen with Donald Trump, you ain't got to be nobody special to run.
Right.
We know this now. So if you have a good heart and you care about people, run for something in your local neighborhood, in your municipality. You be the change. And until you do that, vote for people that want to be the change. And in this election, it's Harrison Walls.
Before I let you go here, Ms. Yvette, what is something that you're looking forward to from getting and receiving VP Kamala Harris as being the president? What's something that you're looking forward to that she's going to put down for all of us?
Well, I'm a caregiver, and she just came up with this thing called Medicare at Home. So a lot of times, with black homes, we bring our people home. My dad was in the house with me until he hurt himself to an extent that he couldn't be here anymore. So I had to find care for him outside the house. With what she's proposing, I would be able to bring the care that he's getting there in the home with me. So I could have my daddy back in this house with me if she becomes president. So that's my why.
Wow.
But anybody who is a woman or loves a woman, the simple thing is a woman's right to choose. That's the simple thing. And then maybe the Voting Rights Act coming back, the fact that she wants to give first-time homeowners some money, she wants to give first-time parents some money. She wants to help people. And when you notice, she doesn't talk about herself. She talks about us.
Right.
This is what I want to do for you. Instead of listing grievances and all the problems that dude, this billionaire has, so many problems. She wants to solve problems, not list problems.
See, Yvette,
that's the difference.
And I'm not going to lie to you. The care idea, the home care idea, I personally love that because, on top of it's needed. It's truly needed. Like on top of the fact that, our elders can be suffering from dementia or a lot of our people being afflicted by diabetes, that's something that our communities need.
Absolutely. Absolutely. She's got, and listen, if you go to her website, she's got so many wonderful policies that will change our lives, and she's fighting for all of us, and we have to fight for her. So again, if you go to wisdems.org/vote, you will find out how you can vote up to Sunday in person, and then you can go on election day to the polling area near you, and you can register even on the day. But please make sure you get in the game. You want to be in this number. You want to be in this number, and we need Wisconsin. So please show up for Harris Walls.
That's amazing, Yvette. Thank you so much for calling in on Jammin' with Juice.
Jammin', it was so nice to talk to you. Tell Juice I said hi.
It's amazing. Thanks so much, Yvette.
Thank you, baby.
God bless you. Be safe.
God bless you. Bye.
That isn't a blessing to be talking to a superstar.